So Koichi is very talented working with young people. He's been junior YBA advisor at their temple for like 16 years. He's worked on the youth retreat that was held at Sacramento for many years. And presently, he's now taken a new position. He's a part-time youth coordinator for our Buddhist Churches of America. And he's very involved in his daughter's schooling and music, and he's also a talented singer himself. But today he's going to give a Dharma talk. So I'd like to introduce Koichi Mizushima.
Thank you very much, Reverend Marv. Good morning, everyone. It is so wonderful to be here at the Orange County Buddhist Church. It's so funny. I think I mentioned this last time. Whenever I come here, everybody looks a little bit familiar to me. Like, I feel like I know you guys. And I do know some people. Look, some people. So, that's wonderful. It's interesting because doing this work with the BCA as the youth coordinator, we've been traveling around a little bit. And whenever you travel on an airplane alone, you end up sitting next to people that you don't know, right? None of this is written here. I just thought of this on the way over. But and this last trip, I sat next to a guy, and I mentioned to him, oh, yeah, you know, I used to own restaurants for many years. I ran restaurants. And all of a sudden, he starts going to this really inappropriate racial tirade about different things. And he's talking really loud because it's an airplane, right? And he's talking loud about, oh, these people don't tip and this and that. And I'm like, I don't know this guy. You know what I mean? I'm like, So anyway, there's a lot of challenges of traveling. You know, Reverend Marv travels a lot, and I don't know if that's happened to you, but it was very uncomfortable because I'm like, I'm not with this guy. Okay, so anyway, the wonderful youth choir was amazing. I really, really enjoyed that. It was so cute. I wish we could get that many youth together. You know, our Betsuin, they're so shy. They're not shy. Yeah, they're shy, huh? Okay. But they did a wonderful, wonderful job, so it was so great to see that. So as you all know, as our chairperson mentioned today, we're celebrating a very important Buddhist holiday today. And today, of course, is Hanamatsuri. It's the day that we celebrate the birth of Siddhartha Gautama, right? Who would later grow up to become the Shakyamuni Buddha, right? That we all know. And I know you all know the story, but I feel obligated to I'll do a really short recap. You already know the story. The king and the queen, you know, King Suddhodana, Queen Maya, way back in India, they wanted a baby, right? More than anything, to help pass his kingdom along to. And they wished for a baby. And one day, Queen Maya finally became pregnant with child. And as was the custom back in those times, the queen made a journey back to her home village, right, where she was going to deliver her baby. So along the way, with their processional of all their, you know, their carts and everything, on the way, almost getting there, they wanted to stop for a little bit to rest in Lumbini Garden. And where's Reverend John? Reverend John Turner very appropriately pointed out to us, it's not Lumbini's garden, right? There wasn't a guy named Lumbini, right? And it's Lumbini Garden. So we are continually learning from each other, so I thought that was very important. But so she stopped along the way, and they rested in Lumbini Garden. And that's when it was like, ooh, 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 and then bam, the baby blew. Well, not that easy. Clearly I'm male, huh? That's why it's so easy, so easy. Okay, so, and then the Buddha was born. And there's a lot of legend that surround the story, right? He took 7 steps. And anyway, so the Buddha was born, and he was named Siddhartha. And one of the translations of Siddhartha is every wish fulfilled. Can you imagine the pressure of that? When you're born, your every wish fulfilled. You know, like Simba. Everything the light touches will be yours, right? You know, and he was holding him up. Every wish fulfilled. Whoa. Got them all riled up. And it's a lot of pressure because, again, this is the king's son, and the king obviously wanted his son to grow up and be a mighty warrior king like he is and take over his kingdom. And one day there was a prophecy that was given, right? And some guy came up to the king, and he goes, your son will become a great warrior king, or he may become a great spiritual leader. Okay, so that was the prophecy for young Siddhartha when he was just a baby. This prophecy was given. He could become a great warrior king like you, or a great spiritual leader. Which one did you think the king wanted him to follow? Which path? Warrior king. Okay, good. Very good. Warrior. So the king said, I want my son to follow the path of me. I want him to be a great warrior king and take over the kingdom and rule the kingdom, right? That's what he wanted, the Shakya clan, right? So what the king did was he said, I am going to make his life. Whoa, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to make his life so. I didn't mean to do that. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Okay, sorry. I'm just a visitor, so I can go home after this. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Okay. Sorry. All right. Stay with your notes, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't even turned the first page yet. Jesus. Okay, so I don't even remember where I was. Okay, so the king, he wanted him to take this path. So again, Siddhartha, I don't even know where I was. Oh, yeah. So after Siddhartha was born, though, it was very sad because mother passed away, right, within a few short days after. And Siddhartha was actually raised by mom's sister, Prajapati, right? And so he was raised by somebody else. And again, so the king said, I'm going to raise this boy, and I'm going to make sure he wants to be a king and not take this other path. So I'm going to make his life so great in this palace. I'm going to make life so amazing for him that he is not going to want to ever go anywhere else or explore any other possibility of life. So, can you imagine that? Anything that Siddhartha wanted, anything he wanted, just bam, and then it would appear, right? My life certainly was not like Siddhartha's growing up. I didn't just get to go and then get whatever I wanted, right? Maybe a light would turn on if I did that, but that's an older person joke. You guys, you don't know what I'm talking about over here. Okay, so my life certainly wasn't like that. I grew up with two first-generation Japanese parents. So that's good that the Japanese people left so I can kind of poke fun. No. But I grew up with two first-generation Japanese parents from Japan, so I had a very strict upbringing, do your homework, study hard, and do all that. I have an old friends that grew up with me, as a matter of fact, and we know. And it's interesting because it was a different time back then. I mean, even for our family, we had a whole different language growing up. Okay, I'll talk about that at the end, but remind me, okay? Remind me. My dad had what was called the Japanese alphabet. He had a whole different language. So remind me at the end, and I'll share with you the Japanese alphabet. We'll end with that. Okay, back to Siddhartha. Imagine his life living, every wish fulfilled. Siddhartha wanted a new set of beautiful robes, right? He said, I want some new robes. And boom, the king's tailor would make him a beautiful set of robes from the finest silks across the land. Siddhartha's hungry. I want a majestic feast, a giant feast. The king would get his private chef, and they would get the freshest ingredients and get make him a beautiful, beautiful feast, right? If Siddhartha wanted a new sword with the family crest on the hilt, a custom-made sword, the king would get his blacksmith, and he would build Siddhartha a beautiful sword, just like that. Boom, right? Like magic. Can you even imagine what life would be like for you if all you had to do was just wish for something and it would appear? Like I want a new iPhone 10 Plus or whatever, and just wish and it would come to your doorstep? That does kind of happen with Amazon Prime now, so that's not the, but you know what I mean though, right? You still have to pay a lot of money for that, right? But my point is you can imagine what growing up like that would be like, right? I know it sounds like a really good idea, and it sounds like something we would wish for. If I could have whatever I wanted, then I would be happy, right? If I could just wish for anything that I wanted, I would be happy. If I was on the board of trustees and everybody would just get along, I would be happy, right? You think that. That doesn't happen here. But, it's interesting because that is our human nature, though, isn't it? It's always desiring more, no matter how much we have, no matter how many pleasures or possessions or perfect life that we live, no matter what we have, we always still want something else. So that was interesting because today my daughter Ellie sang the song Part of Your World, and that was from The Little Mermaid. How many of you, have you seen The Little Mermaid? Has everybody seen it? Okay, so it's a story about, she's a mermaid. She lives under the sea, and she lives with her father is the King Triton. So she lives this beautiful life under the sea. They can swim everywhere. They're surrounded by beautiful things. Her father is the king. She has like a whole bunch of sisters, and they live this amazing life under the sea, not wanting for anything. And that's what that story is about. But even young Ariel the mermaid, who lived this perfect life, would always peer above the ocean's surface, and she would always wonder what was beyond the ocean's surface. She always wondered what life was like on land. Despite the fact that she lived in this beautiful, vast ocean, she still wondered what life was like somewhere else. She was even willing to trade her beautiful voice. Ariel had a beautiful singing voice, and she was even willing to gamble away her beautiful singing voice at just a small chance, just one chance to fall in love with her prince and live a life on land above the sea. Right? And it was interesting because many of us, if we were on land and we got to look at Ariel's life under the sea and look at all the things, she had gadgets and gizmos aplenty, right? Right? You want thingamabob? She had them, right? She had everything. If we could have seen that life under the sea and looked down at her, we would all probably wish, I wish I could swim there. Up, down, left, right. We only have 2 dimensions on land, right? We would all wish to live her life. But here she is, living her life of a princess under the sea, looking up through the water at our lives, wishing she could live our lives. So I thought it was so interesting that Ariel and Siddhartha were so similar in their ways, right? They both lived with these beautiful lives, but they always longed for something else. So again, that's what happened with Siddhartha, right? As he got older, he said, there has to be more to life. There's got to be something else that I'm missing. No matter how much stuff I have, I'm not truly fulfilled and truly happy. And that's when he left the palace at the age of 29 in search of something else. And when we talk about wishes and what we wish for and what we want, I'm reminded of a teaching that I heard from one of my ministers many years ago. And this minister said that right here, right now, we are living a life of a wish fulfilled. Right here, right now, we are all living a life of a wish fulfilled. And I didn't understand exactly what that meant, but I think here's what he meant. Here we sit, no matter what age you are, let's say you're younger, you're going to wish that you were older. I wish I could, drive. I wish I could get a job so I can buy, all the Xbox games I would want or whatever, right? And you're going to wish for a time when you're older, which is maybe me. So, in a way, I am living their wish fulfilled because there was a time that I wish I was older, and here I am right now, living in that moment that they wish for. And some of our members who maybe are a little older, they wish that they were younger at a time when maybe my shoulder didn't hurt as much, or my knees or something like that, or even me, my eyesight, I can't even read that TV screen back there at all. I can't see it. But when we get older, we wish that we were, believe it or not, we wish we were younger. When we see you sitting there in your purest form, when young people laugh, they laugh so pure, don't they? We laugh like this. We don't know. See, like they're like, look at them. They really let go. They live a life of such wonderful, beautiful, pure honesty. So when we're older, we wish to be younger. So you younger people, you are living a life of our wish fulfilled. So you see, every moment, no matter where you are, this is what Buddhism tries to teach us. Right where we are, no matter what we want and wish for, you have to understand and take a moment and step back and say, right here, right now, we are living that wish fulfilled. And that's why we have to feel that really deep sense of gratitude for where we are. Because no matter where you are in life, you're going to always wish you were someone else. But some other point, wish that you were right here. So I thought that was a really interesting lesson that they taught us. So again, at the end of Little Mermaid, what happens, right? They have the big conflict and the fight, and then she breaks the thing, and he gets her voice back, right? And then what happens? What happened to her fin? She got legs, right? She got legs, right? So she got legs, and then what? She married the prince, right? And in Disney movies, they live happily ever after, right? I know, right? Yeah, you went right? That wasn't even right. I don't know. I was wondering about that because is that really happily ever after? Because that's what she wished for, right? More than anything. I just wish I could be with this prince. I just wish I could have legs, and then I would be happy, right? If only I could have those things, I would be happy. So what about Little Mermaid Part 2, right? The sequel. It'd be different, you know? He leaves his socks on the ground. This isn't what I thought I was going to be, right? You know, he snores so loud I can't sleep, because underwater you can't hear the snores, right? Oh, he leaves the toilet seat up all the time. She doesn't even know what a toilet seat is, you know? I guess the point I'm trying to make is, that's a Disney movie. That's why it's a fantasy. You make one wish, and your wish is fulfilled, and then happily ever after? Right? We don't get happily ever after in a human life. A human life is a constant effort. We get moments of happiness, and right when they come, they're fleeting and they leave. That's why we have to appreciate them, because they come so quickly and they leave just as quickly. And the human condition is that we continue to try. We continue to aspire for that happiness, and that comes from gratitude. So again, Buddhism doesn't teach us to not want anything. It's okay to still want things, but it teaches us to understand how those desires fit into our lives in a healthy and happy way. And so one of the biggest secrets that I've learned in life, that I've been taught through other ministers as well, is the key to being happy in our lives is when you start to fulfill the wish of others instead of focusing on yourselves. Because when we focus on others, we stop thinking only about me, and we stop being selfish, and then we can experience true happiness. And if you think about that, when you think about other people, you're not feeling sorry for yourself. And that is the easiest path to real happiness. So I hope after today, you continue to think about Ariel's life and realize that it parallels Siddhartha's life. And it makes you grateful for where you are, remembering that you are living a life of a wish fulfilled. So with that, I promised you the Japanese alphabet to show you my life growing up. So I know this makes no sense. That was my segue, but okay. So this is the Japanese. I grew up, like I said, first generation mom and dad, and so we had a lot of communication barriers. So this is my dad's version of a Japanese alphabet. Okay, it's it's long. It's A through Z. So it starts with A. Hey, what are you doing? Go to your room, do your homework. Right? B. Because I said so. C. See what a good student your older brother is? D. Don't make me come over there. E. Even the dog is smarter than you. F. Forget about dessert after dinner. G. Go do your homework right now. Okay. H. How come you can't be more like the boy down the street? I don't know what I did to deserve a child like you. J. Jankenpo. You lose, do your homework. Okay. K. Knock knock. Who's there? Do your homework. Okay. L. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. M. Mom can't help you now. N. No more Instagram for you. Oh, my Buddha, please make my son do his homework. P. People who don't finish homework never move out and get a job. Q. Quit crying. R. Listen to me. Do your homework. S. Start right now. T. Talk to the hand. Okay. You don't know who you're dealing with. V. Very good. Get started. W. Why do you make things so difficult? X. Exactly who do you think you are? Y. Why did I not get a smarter son? And Z. That's it. That's all I can take. Hi. And Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.